Most sales reps think they're selling a product. You're actually selling a feeling. Here's the mistake 90% of sales reps make. They focus on features instead of emotional drivers. They memorize the benefits, they practice objection word tracks, and wonder why they're still losing to people who don't even have a better offer. Understanding psychology beats understanding the product every single time. This is how I was able to consistently jump on brand new offers, start taking sales calls, and start closing deals within 48 hours. I didn't know the product inside and out. I didn't have months of training, but I understood what drives people to buy, and that is all I need. If you don't know who I am, my name is Princess Bonhomme, and I help people break through their income ceiling in high-ticket sales. I've seen people go from 2K months to 20K plus months using what I'm about to show you. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to read prospects like a book. You will know exactly what motivates them to move, and you will understand why the same approach fails with different kinds of people. I'm going to share with you what I call the motivation matrix. This is 3 distinct psychological profiles that determine buying behavior. Master this, and you will never wonder why a perfect prospect didn't buy ever again. So here's what every sales trainer gets wrong. They teach you to memorize word tracks, they focus on objection handling, they give you fancy analogies that don't really move people, they tell you to focus on building rapport, they give you all these shiny objects that if you just did that, you'd close more people. They're not teaching you that people buy based on their biggest fears. That's it. Traditional sales training assumes that everyone responds to the same triggers. Make it about money, create urgency, show social proof. But here's the reality. The person making $30,000 a year and the person making $300,000 a year are motivated by completely different things. The 30K a year person is motivated by survival. The 300K a year person is motivated by protection. If you try to sell survival to someone who's worried about protection, you will lose them immediately. This is why one-size-fits-all scripts fail. Different motivators require completely different approaches, and most sales reps are trying to sell everyone on the same dream, and they can't figure out why it only works sometimes. The shift you need to make is from product knowledge to psychological insight. So stop focusing on what you're selling and start focusing on what they're actually buying, which is always a feeling, never a product. So here is the breakdown of the 3 levels of motivation. We'll start with level 1. Level 1 is survival mode. So these are people who are drowning and you are their life raft. People in survival mode have one core pain. They're living paycheck to paycheck and they have no freedom. So their emotional driver is the fear of being stuck forever because every month is a struggle. Every unexpected expense is a crisis for them. And people at this level go to bed worried about money and wake up worried about money every single day. So their desire is not complicated. They just desire to have the ability to live and thrive instead of just survive every day. They want to stop checking their bank account when they go grocery shopping, right? They want to be able to breathe. So when you're selling to people in survival mode, you want to focus on immediate relief and security. The language that works really well is never worry about rent again and finally breathe financially, right? So your job is to paint the picture of stability, not luxury. It's also really important to use specific language that they use. So when they're speaking, if there's any word that stands out to you, write it down so you can mirror it back. Here's a critical mistake that a lot of sales reps make. If you oversell the lifestyle, you will lose credibility. So don't talk about Lamborghinis and mansions and private jets to someone who can't even afford their car payment. They're going to think that you're either delusional or worse, they're going to think you're lying. These prospects tend to move fast when they actually believe, when they can see, taste, really believe that you can help them out of their situation. They're in so much pain right now. So if you can credibly show them a path out of it, they'll take it. but they're also the most likely to have financial objections, right? So you need flexible payment plans and low barriers to entry, of course. Now, level 2 in the matrix is protection mode. So these are people who are making 100K or more, okay, about 100 to 500K. These prospects have made it. So now they're terrified of losing it. So the people in protection mode have a really different core pain, which is that one day they'll wake up and all their money is gone, maybe due to a financial crisis or like the pandemic happening again. And the reason why this is a specific pain point for them is because they've worked so hard to get where they are. And now they're paranoid about it all disappearing. Their emotional driver is anxiety about their status and comparison pressure. So when you hear someone say, I need to diversify my portfolio, they're not trying to sound sophisticated. They are scared because they've seen other people lose everything and they don't want to be next. So their desire is to maintain and improve their position financially while they actually diversify risk. When it comes to status, you know that phrase, keep up with the Joneses? This is really important to them because they put themselves in a different tax bracket. So they have a whole new community of friends and they really want to maintain the status because it's really embarrassing if they can't go to the country club because they have to work extra hours, right? So you want to focus on protecting status and protecting finances. Language that works really well is diversify your income, stay ahead of the curve, right? Any particular language, of course, again, that they use. The most important language you can ever use as a sales rep is what the prospect said, okay? Shows them that you're listening. It's important to keep in mind that with people in protection mode, you're not selling the dream. You are selling them protection against their nightmare. Another really important thing to understand about level 2 people is that they do their research. They compare their options because they want proof that what you're offering is legitimate and sustainable. And they've probably been burnt before on their journey to becoming successful. So trust building does take a little bit longer with them. But here's what's really interesting. They often have the most money to spend because they're already earning well and they understand the value of investing. So the key here is positioning your offer as protection instead of a get rich quick scheme. Okay, that would be the quickest way to lose them. Now, level 3. These are people who are in legacy mode. So they are already millionaires. So money is not the motivator. Time is. People in legacy mode have completely transcended financial worries. So now their worries are a bit different. They're worried about when they're on their deathbed, will they regret not spending enough time with their family? Will they regret not spending time on more meaningful pursuits in their life? So their emotional driver is awareness of their mortality and the search for meaning in life. So since they've made the money, they've got the things, they've got the cars and the houses, now they want to create something that lasts and actually spend time on what matters, which is their family. So your sales approach here needs to be focused on time freedom and legacy building. So the language that works really well is more time with family and build something that lasts. So you're selling them their time back and the opportunity to actually create meaning. These are often the easiest closes if you understand their motivation because money is not the issue, right? But if you try to sell them financial freedom, they will think you do not understand their world at all and they will not respect you. So the shift here is from the accumulation of wealth to actually allocating their wealth. So they're more concerned about how can I actually leverage my money so I can buy back my time. So how do you identify which level your prospect is in within the first 5 minutes? The key is to listen to their language cues. Survival mode talks about bills, stress, and being tired of struggling. Protection mode talks about security, diversification, and not wanting to lose what they have. Legacy talks about time and family, sometimes even great grandkids. So let me give you an example with real estate agents. A struggling real estate agent will say, I need more leads to pay my bills. An established level 2 agent will say, I need to diversify beyond just real estate in case the market crashes. A top producer level 3 real estate agent will say, I want systems that run without me so I can focus on what matters. So, same industry, yet three completely different motivations depending on which level they are in the matrix. A bonus tip that's really important to keep in mind is that some prospects are ready to buy immediately. So these are the people who have been burned before and they just want to make sure it doesn't happen again. So those are the people who come onto your calls and ask detailed questions right up front because they just want to move quickly with the right person. I see this happen all the time where sales reps get completely thrown off when this happens. Do not get thrown off. The ones who give you the most resistance early on the call often do that because they can buy and because they want to. They just need to make sure this is a good fit quickly. So here's what to do on your next call. Start by actually doing research on your prospect. Look at their LinkedIn, look up their company, any information you can find. Are they posting about struggles or are they posting about successes? Are they focused on growth or stability? And when they jump on that call with you, your opening question should be, what's the biggest reason you're looking to insert what you sell? For example, what's the biggest reason you're looking for a new lead gen strategy? Their answers will immediately place them in the matrix, so you will know exactly which level they're on. For follow-ups, track their psychological profile. In your notes, add if they are in survival, protection, or legacy. And use this information for all future communications so you don't fumble it and drop the ball down the line. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to share 3 common mistakes that kill deals. Mistake number 1 is assuming that income level equals psychological level. I've met millionaires who think like they're still broke, and I've met broke people who think like millionaires. Income and psychology don't always match. Mistake number 2 is using the same value proposition for different motivators. Talking about financial freedom to someone who's already financially free makes you look completely clueless, and they will lose respect for you. Mistake number 3, not adjusting your energy to match their urgency. If they're in crisis mode and you're casual, they'll think that you just don't understand. If they're methodical and you're pushy, they'll think you're desperate. So here's what this actually requires. It's not about manipulation. It's just showing genuine understanding. You need to care about people's real problems, not your commission. And getting really good at this requires a lot of reps. So you need to practice listening carefully, asking better questions, and resist the urge to pitch so quickly. Most sales reps won't do this work because it's harder than memorizing some word tracks. But that is your advantage. While everyone else is trying to convince people to buy things they don't want, you will be helping people get what they actually need. The compound of understanding psychological insight builds over time because the more you understand people, the better you get at reading them quickly. Eventually, you will understand someone's motivation within 2 minutes of meeting them. And that is when sales stops being hard and starts being inevitable. Whew, that was a doozy, right? So I would love to see your golden nuggets in the comments. I look forward to reading and responding to every single one. Like and subscribe for more in-depth trainings like this, and I will see you on the next one.